Good morning and welcome to East Carolina University. Welcome to the Spring Convocation honoring the accomplishments of the class of 2022 graduates of the Brody School of Medicine. Incredible accomplishments. There is no class like the 2022 graduates of the Brody School of Medicine. I'm Dr. Mike Waldrum, the Dean of the Brody School of Medicine and CEO of ECU Health, and I'm honored to be here to celebrate our students with you. This is the 42nd, please be seated, thank you. This is the 42nd convocation of the Brody School of Medicine. It's great to be a Brody pirate physician. Today, we have the privilege of celebrating the great successes of the brightest and most accomplished individuals at East Carolina University. We are thrilled to be with you today. Congratulations to the class of 2022. I'm honored to be with you and to celebrate with you, and frankly, I'm a bit nervous as my first time to celebrate the graduates of the Brody School of Medicine as Dean. But before we get on to celebrating you, I want to acknowledge all of the parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, children's, nephews, family members, and friends that are here today. Without you, our graduates would not be here. Please join me in recognizing all of those who have supported our graduates. As we all know, it takes a village and a community to produce a physician. I want to introduce those with me on the stage today. Seated to my left are Dr. Mitchell Jester, class of 2022 president. Dr. Louisa Opinya, I practiced so hard, and I really apologize. I said it really well this morning at 5 a.m. Louisa Opinyaga, class of 2022 vice president. And to her left is Dr. Rashida Monroe, a proud 2005 Brody graduate, is currently a physician at Wake Med in Raleigh, North Carolina. Dr. Monroe has been selected by the class of 2022 as their convocation speaker. Thank you, Dr. Monroe. To Dr. Monroe's left are Professor Hugh Lee, Associate Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. Amanda Higginson, Associate Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. Jason Higginson, the Executive Dean of the Brody School of Medicine, Dr. David Eldridge, the Senior Associate Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Cedric Bright, the Vice Dean and Associate Dean for Admissions. Woo. Behind them are Dr. Robert Carroll, Associate Dean for Medical Education, Dr. David Gilbert, Associate Dean for Curricular Innovation in Medical Education, and Dr. Cassandra Akinambong, Associate Dean for the Office of Student Development and Academic Counseling. I want to thank each of you for all you do on behalf of our school. In addition, I also want to thank the members of the over 400 faculty who are here today and recognize them as well. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to these students. Through your mentorship, you have modeled for them the professional ideas that they will emulate for the rest of their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate and thank the faculty of the Brody School of Medicine for helping us to educate these physicians. It takes a village and it takes a community to produce a physician. Now, please join me in welcoming Dr. Mitchell Jesser, President of the Class of 2022, to the podium.
Good morning. I tried to memorize a speech this morning and last night, but I brought my notes with me just in case. What a day it is. Welcome to the Brody School of Medicine Class of 2022 Convocation Ceremony. Give all these graduates a big round of applause. My name is Mitchell Jesser, and I have served as the Class of 2022 President. Serving in this position has been one of the greatest and most rewarding experiences of my life. What a journey. As I look out into the audience, I see an intelligent, a diverse, a compassionate, and driven group of individuals. I am so proud to have worked with you, grown with you, and to have developed extremely close friendships with all of you that will last a lifetime. I know that all of you will go on to accomplish great things in your career. But more importantly, I know that you will do it with humility and with a passion that is unique to Brody graduates. As graduation approached, I began to reminisce. At first, I thought about the obstacles, and there were lots of obstacles to getting here today. Learning head and neck anatomy during a hurricane evacuation, pretty difficult. Having step 1 exams canceled nationwide, and beginning clinical rotations during a global pandemic. Wow. These obstacles were quickly replaced, though, with the great memories I have built and the friendships that we have all developed over the last 4 years. I challenge each and every one of you here today to reflect upon these little experiences that made this journey such a beautiful success. For example, and I'll provide some fun things here, who can forget powder puff football, M1 versus M2? We might not have won, but we had a great attitude while we were there. Brody formals, holiday gatherings, the Brody play, which the M4 class put on last week and did an exceptional job. Shakespeare would have been proud. And even, yes, the beer Olympics. But the most influential experiences are the small acts of kindness exhibited by the members of my class. I think about meeting my first Brody friend at orientation, Jasmine. I think about playing basketball with the Brody Ballers. I think about having a friend, Obeth, buy me a cup of coffee to help cheer me up this year after hearing that my grandmother had passed away. It's the little things in life that bring us joy and happiness, and this definitely applies to our educational journey. At this time, I would also like to thank all of the Brody faculty members, administrators, and staff members. Without all of your work, none of us would be here today, and I really do mean that. None of us would be here. Thank you for believing in us and giving us the tools to develop into empathetic and excellent physicians. You have played pivotal roles in developing thousands of physicians across North Carolina, across the country, and abroad, and we are extremely grateful to you. Give a round of applause to the faculty. I would also like to thank all of the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the partners, the siblings, the friends who are here today, and those who could not be here. This journey to becoming a physician is a group endeavor. It is not an individual success. We all recognize the people in our corner that we needed. Without your guidance and support, none of this would have been possible. Having a group of loving supporters in our circle meant the world to us, and I would love for all of us to give a huge round of applause again to those supporters. Again, congratulations, class of 2022. All of your years of hard work has paid off. You all should be extremely proud of your accomplishments, and I cannot wait to see and hear about all of your accomplishments through the years. Without further ado, I would like to invite my dear friend and class vice president, Dr. Luisa Abia Agbenega, to the stage.
Hello, good morning. It is my honor to introduce our convocation speaker, Dr. Rashida Monroe. Dr. Rashida Monroe attended East Carolina University and the Brody School of Medicine in Greenville, North Carolina, graduating as a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Medical Honor Society in 2005. She completed a pediatric residency at UNC Hospitals in 2008. After working in private practice, she joined WakeMed Health and Hospitals in 2013, where she works with medical trainees and an interdisciplinary team to address the needs of many of Raleigh's most vulnerable children. She currently serves as the medical director of primary care pediatrics at WakeMed, the Raleigh area campus director to the UNC School of Medicine, and the director to the Keenan Urban Scholars Program at UNC School of Medicine. In the first half of 2021, Dr. Monroe led COVID-19 vaccine efforts with the Sister Circle and her health equity team of volunteers, vaccinating over 14,000 people from vulnerable communities who have been most impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. She is married to her high school sweetheart and former ECU football player, Mr. Kevin Monroe, and lives in Cary with her 2 football-loving boys. Please help me welcome Dr. Monroe.
Good morning. Thank you, Louisa, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you to Dr. Waldrum and our other distinguished guest. Most importantly, thank you to the 2022 graduating class of the Brody School of Medicine. Thank you for this invitation. I'm absolutely honored to have been invited to speak to you today at your convocation. It's not been so very long since I was sitting here in these same seats with my husband and my parents by my side, weary after 4 years of training that we had all endured, but energized about the opportunities and adventures that lay ahead. I want to say thank you to all of you who have been by their sides and a part of their villages during these past years in this journey. They certainly could not have done this without you. And they will continue to need your love and support and encouragement in the coming years, and one day soon, it will all be worth it. I'm here today with a part of my village, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, James and Rita Monroe. Thank you for your continued support since 1995. I graduated from J.H. Rose High School right here in Greenville, where I met their son, Kevin Monroe, my husband, who is also here today. We attended East Carolina University together, where he was a standout football player, and I was an average member of the Pure Gold dance team at East Carolina. He obtained his MBA at East Carolina while I was here at Brody School of Medicine. And upon graduation, I completed my pediatric residency at UNC Children's Hospital in Chapel Hill. As Louisa mentioned, after several years working in private practice, I then was able to secure my dream job working with children and families from underserved communities as an attending physician, medical director, and medical educator at WakeMed Hospital in Raleigh, North Carolina. Kevin and I indeed have 2 beautiful, healthy boys, and to my dismay and his absolute delight, football-obsessed boys. Their names are Marcus and Butter. Life has been wonderful. My parents, Linwood and Sanjanet Taliaferro, moved to Raleigh to be a part of our village and to help our busy young family. They adored their grandchildren, and my kids adored them. Kevin and I, at some point, looked around and thought how incredibly blessed we had been, and then it all started to unravel. In the spring of 2015, I was returning home from my first short-term medical mission trip in Haiti, and on my way home, I called my brother and best friend, Linwood Jr., to tell him of the amazing experience I'd just had. He listened and reflected with me, and then he told me about some really concerning neurological symptoms that he'd recently started to experience. I was very alarmed, so much so that I pulled over to the side of the road right then and started making some phone calls to see if I could help get him evaluated. Over the next months, I watched my brother's health deteriorate at a rate that terrified me. That summer, I can remember being outside in the driveway on my knees praying to God for help, figuring out what was going on with my brother so that we could get him the help that he needed in time before it took him away from us. I had never, ever known such fear. It was only made worse as I watched from 2 states away as he navigated a healthcare system that did not believe him. He was told by his neurologist that he was faking his symptoms, and the neurologist refused to perform the necessary tests to make an appropriate diagnosis, despite the personal doctor-to-doctor call that I placed assuring him that my previously healthy, amazingly talented brother was truly experiencing this deterioration in front of our eyes. We were very fortunate to then find a neurologist who I again made a personal call to and pled sister to sister for help with this case. She then performed the appropriate testing, made the diagnosis, and he received surgery in late summer of 2015 and made a remarkable recovery. I was relieved and so grateful. But only months later, my beautiful and vibrant 69-year-old mother, who had just been in the backyard playing soccer with my boys and going on long walks with them, was diagnosed with an advanced, aggressive cancer of unknown origin. It was already stage 4 at the time of diagnosis, and she would only have 4 weeks to live. My brother, father, and I were by her side, caring for her as she bravely transitioned home in January of 2016. She had been in constant pain, but never complained. I am forever thankful for the moments that we had during those weeks and will never forget the village of friends and family that helped support us during that terrible time. I watched my father grieve the love of his life, with whom he'd expected more time, more adventures, and more opportunities to cherish their grandkids together. He was an eternal optimist, though, and a man of very strong faith, and he showed me what true strength looked like when he navigated the next 2 years without her by his side. He cherished his self-titled role of grandpa nanny and adored watching my boys play sports, telling them stories, and man, he could sure spin a tale. His stories live on to this day. He was vibrant and optimistic when he came to live with us after suffering a mild stroke, and then passed away suddenly 6 months later in May of 2018. Again, my family was grappling with grief and loss, the loss of loved ones, caregivers, best friends, expectations, and dreams. But that's certainly not where the story ends. You've all just heard a bit about the work I did last year with a group of Black women physicians in Raleigh, North Carolina. We called ourselves the Sister Circle, and our amazing group of health equity volunteers that included doctors, nurses, medical students, teachers, and community members who helped bring access to COVID-19 vaccines in historically marginalized communities throughout Southeast Raleigh. We worked with faith leaders and community organizations in Southeast Raleigh who served Black and brown communities that had suffered disproportionately during the pandemic, with rates of hospitalizations and deaths 2 to 3 times that of other communities in North Carolina. And we saw this story play out time and time again throughout the country, that poor, urban and rural communities were not being afforded access to the life-saving vaccines early on in the vaccine effort due to the historical and structural factors that shaped their communities. What we were witnessing, though, galvanized us into action. There was a sense of urgency in the way we set out to bridge this divide. We truly felt like we were in a race against time. In the midst of a deadly pandemic and during the peak of their medical training, medical trainees, such as yourselves, stepped outside of their comfort zones to give and document vaccines, offer counseling and comfort, and do whatever was needed of them as all hands were on deck. We received a lot of local and even national media attention for the work that we did, volunteering weekend after weekend for months to deliver over 14,000 vaccines to underserved communities. The North Carolina Attorney General, Governor, and even the President of the United States came in person to deliver a thank you for the work we did to promote health equity. In June of 2021, when I was on the news giving a tour to President Biden and discussing our vaccine work, my husband, financial advisor, former star athlete, current ECU sports commentator, remarked with delight that he was no longer the most famous Monroe, even in his own household. People celebrated the story of the Sister Circle, but what people did not know was the reason behind my passion and sense of urgency, a story that you now know. I'd personally felt the grief of crushing loss. I'd experienced fear of the unknown, saw what it felt like to navigate a health system that didn't believe you or value you, that dismissed your pain. Over the previous year in the pandemic, I'd mourned with families who I care for who'd experienced loss. My heart had been broken when I learned of my patients who'd lost their mothers due to COVID in infancy before they'd even gotten to know them. The faith community in Southeast Raleigh had experienced the loss of their congregants and community members. They'd led them in socially distanced and virtual funerals. Our Sister Circle grew out of the need for supporting Black women navigating careers and leadership roles in medicine. We needed each other to share our stories, offer support and encouragement in a field where our voices are not often represented. We were able to turn that grief, that pain, into our purpose. And for me, my pain became my superpower. As you move on, students, to your next phase, hold these truths near and dear to your heart. Reflect on them and remember them in your darkest moments. You will, without a doubt, navigate challenges, both personally and professionally. You will make mistakes, you will experience pain. But with pain comes growth. In your most challenging times, offer yourself grace. Prioritize the things that bring you joy, and look for the lesson. Ask for and accept help from your village. Know that you are resilient, you are well equipped, you will succeed, and you can turn your pain into a superpower. You are unique. Your lived experience, whatever it is unique. They need you at the table. Your individual perspective and ideas can inform and shape strategies in a way to reach your community. You are more than what's happened to you, and your story does not have to end with your pain. Thank you so much to the graduating class. It has been an honor and a privilege to be with you today. I'm so proud of you all. You are well trained, you are brilliant, and you are ready for this next step. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Monroe. Let's give her another hand for that beautiful inspiration. All right, we're all here for the big moment. So let's get going. Professor Hugh Lee and Dr. Amanda Higginson, Associate Deans for the Office of Student Affairs, will present the class. Dr. David Eldridge, Senior Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, will hood our students. As is customary in many medical schools' convocation ceremonies, we will have physician family members and friends, as well as faculty chosen by members of the class of 2022 participating in the hooding of the graduates. This is a really special time for those graduates. I have the great privilege of handing each student their diploma.
Dr. Sherifat Adebusola Ademola. Dr. Ademola will be hooded by Dr. Cedric Bright. Dr. Michelle Uchenna Ajumobi. Dr. Luisa Erama Apia Agbenyega. Dr. Apia Agbenyega will be hooded by Dr. Cedric Bright. Dr. Ali W. Arafat. Dr. William Archie. Dr. Ongeri Joseph Ayako. Dr. Ayako will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. TJ Suni Oluwada Milare Babalola. Dr. Babalola will be hooded by Dr. Cedric Bright. Dr. Obeth Bahena Gutierrez. Dr. Bahena Gutierrez will be hooded by his brother, Dr. Martin Bahena. Dr. Ashley Kristen Barber. Dr. Spencer Hampton Bell. Dr. Bell will be hooded by his uncle, Dr. Tony Bell. Dr. Simone Bridget Boney. Dr. Boney will be hooded by her cousin, Dr. Jewel Carr. Dr. Brianna Adele Boyd. Dr. Boyd will be hooded by Dr. Cedric Bright. Dr. Peter Gerard Buccini. Dr. Buccini will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. Erin Andrea Bunch. Dr. Olivia Page Campbell. Dr. Campbell will be hooded by Dr. Tom Irons. Dr. Alexander Clark. Dr. Kiesia Sequoia Craig. Dr. Jamie Owen Creed. Dr. Madeline Rose Coutrone. Dr. Coutrone will be hooded by her father, Dr. Martin Coutrone, and her fiance, Dr. Ryan Akamazo. Dr. Kishan Ramesh Darji. Dr. Darji will be hooded by his brother, Dr. Sunny Darji, and his sister-in-law, Dr. Uma Darji. Dr. Katie Lynn Davis. Dr. Sahil Dayal.
Dr. Lorna Devkota. Dr. Devkota will be hooded by her brother-in-law, Dr. Deepak Joshi. Dr. Katayun Dalat Shahi. Dr. Patrick Mewen Dugum. Dr. Nathaniel Charles East. Dr. East will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. Denise Elizondo. Dr. Elizondo will be hooded by Dr. Tom Irons. Dr. Megan E. Fries. Dr. Fries will be hooded by her mentor, Dr. Nazreen Vora. Dr. Helena Wynn Gann. Dr. Gann will be hooded by Dr. Tom Irons. Dr. Anita Gandhi. Dr. Gandhi will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. Danielle Golterman Hall. Dr. Ryan Hatfield. Dr. Sheridan Jean Maxwell Hill. Dr. Tyler Henshaw. Dr. Henshaw will be hooded by her friend, Dr. Ivory Shelton. Dr. Athema Huria. Dr. Holly Ingram. Dr. Ingram will be hooded by her mother, Dr. Gina Pittard. Dr. Mitchell Prescott Jester. Dr. Jester will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. Colin James Johnson. Dr. Nathaniel Young Johnston. Dr. Galib Khan. Dr. Khan will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. Ryan Joseph Kramer. Dr. Kramer will be hooded by Dr. Jill Sutton. Dr. Daniel Alexander Layden. Dr. Layden will be hooded by his brother, Dr. David Layden. Dr. Veronica Marie Lavelle. Dr. Lavelle will be hooded by Dr. Amanda Higginson. Dr. Kenneth LaRue Lowry II. Dr. Lowry will be hooded by Dr. Cedric Bright.
Dr. Etienne Maganga. Dr. Maganga will be hooded by her aunt, Dr. Grace Jerry. Dr. Abigail Leone Majorana Boutillier. Dr. Majorana Boutillier will be hooded by her mother, Dr. Susan Boutillier. Dr. Natalie Michelle Malpas. Dr. Camille Bauer Masters. Dr. Masters will be hooded by Dr. Tom Irons. Dr. Ross McRae Masters. Dr. Masters will be hooded by Dr. Tom Irons. Dr. Amanda Johnny Matthew. Dr. Matthew will be hooded by Dr. Cedric Bright. Dr. Jacqueline Poston McAllister. Dr. McAllister will be hooded by her mother, Dr. Allison Scott Hudson. Dr. Mark Overton McAllister. Dr. McAllister will also be hooded by his mother-in-law, Dr. Allison Scott Hudson. Dr. Justin Douglas McAllen. Dr. McAllen will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. Christopher Scott McMillan. Dr. McMillan will be hooded by Dr. Clint Parker. Dr. Annabelle Medrano. Dr. Whitney Camille Melvin. Dr. Melvin will be hooded by her father, Dr. Al Melvin. Dr. Emanuela Ofori Mensa. Dr. Mensa will be hooded by Dr. Cedric Bright. Dr. Crystal Mary Molnar. Dr. Molnar will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. Tejal Kirit Nayak. Dr. Amanda Nieves. Dr. Nieves will be hooded by Dr. Skip Roby. Dr. Joel Norte. Dr. Norte will be hooded by Dr. Cedric Bright. Dr. Steph Orr. Dr. Orr will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. Matthew Thomas Parrish. Dr. Kayer Hiren Patel. Dr. Tulsi Mihir Patel. Dr. Patel will be hooded by Dr. Tom Irons. Dr. Akash Reddy Patlola.
Dr. Amber Fulford Priester. Dr. Priester will be hooded by Dr. Jill Sutton. Dr. Rashida Mary Jean Pugh. Dr. Pugh will be hooded by Dr. Cedric Bright. Dr. Savannah Jordan Ray. Dr. Oscar Rolando Reyes, Jr. Dr. Reyes will be hooded by Dr. Jason Higginson. Dr. Austin Martin Rice. Dr. Rice will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. Scott Thomas Richardson, Jr. Dr. Richardson will be hooded by his sister, Dr. Elizabeth Richardson. Dr. Forrest Andrew Robertson. Dr. Robertson will be hooded by his father, Dr. V.O. Robertson III. Dr. Jasmine Sade Robinson. Dr. Robinson will be hooded by Dr. Cedric Bright. Dr. Ahmed Sami. Dr. Sami will be hooded by Dr. Philip Boyer. Dr. Usman Saqib. Dr. Bryson Shelton. Dr. Matthew Justin Torres. Dr. Caitlin May Townsend. Dr. Townsend will be hooded by her friend and co-resident, Dr. Ryan Akamazo. Dr. Alexander J. Try. Dr. Smriti Valsaraj. Dr. Lenny K. Vaught. Dr. Jayathi Vyas. Dr. Vyas will be hooded by her best friend, Dr. Roshni Delwadia. Dr. Kashyla Shabris Whitehurst. Dr. Whitehurst will be hooded by Dr. Amanda Higginson. Dr. Stephanie Patricia Wilcher. Dr. Wilcher will be hooded by her mentor, Dr. Jessica Trish. Dr. Alexander Joseph Young. Dr. Young will be hooded by his mother, Dr. Joyce Young.
Family, friends, faculty, administration, it is my pleasure to present the class of 2022.
All right, congratulations. So, I'm Jason Higginson. I'm the Executive Dean of the School of Medicine, but I'm also a captain in the United States Navy. And it's my pleasure to do the military promotions portion of this ceremony. Brody is proud to have 5 students from our class that have chosen to serve our nation as uniformed officers in the military. It is traditional upon graduation for officers to receive promotion in rank. Ensigns Amanda Nieves and Katie Davis will be promoted to lieutenant in the United States Navy at a later time. Second Lieutenant William Archie will be promoted to captain in the United States Air Force at a separate time. And it is my distinct honor and privilege to have Second Lieutenants Kenneth Lowry and Obeth Bahena Gutierrez come on stage now for their promotion ceremony. So as a bit of background, one becomes an officer in the Armed Forces of the United States by accepting a commission and swearing an oath to support the Constitution. The commissioning oath constitutes an individual moral commitment to a common ethical construct. They legitimize the officer's trade and provide the basis for the shared ethic of commissioned service that binds all military officers and all military members into an effective and loyal fighting force. The oath of commission symbolizes the foundation of trust safely placed in the armed forces by the American people. The commissioning oath unites all armed forces officers in a common undertaking of service to our nation. We will now reaffirm that oath. All right. Gentlemen, is it working? All right, gentlemen, raise your right hands. I state your name.
I, Kenneth Lowry,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or cause of evasion,
or cause of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office I'm about to enter,
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office I'm about to enter.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. I present to you Captains Lowry and Bahena Gutierrez.
Congratulations, Obeth and Kenneth, again. And for all those in the audience who have served or are currently serving, thank you so much. Dr. Jason Higginson will be coming up here in a second, so I'm doing a little bit of a meandering up here, but without further ado, you guys might remember this. We did the Physician's Pledge during our white coat ceremony. You guys will be getting to do it again today. From beginning to end, it stays true, and I'm happy to do it with you. The class of 2022 has selected Dr. Jason Higginson to lead our class in reciting the Physician's Pledge.
All right, back to my dean duties. Okay, will the class of 2022 and any physicians present please rise for the recitation of the Physician's Pledge that is printed in your program and recite it along with me. As a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of humanity. The health and well-being of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the autonomy and dignity of my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not permit consideration of age, disease, or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me, even after the patient has died. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity and in accordance with good medical practice. I will foster the honor and noble traditions of the medical profession. I will give to my teachers, colleagues, and students the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient and advancement of healthcare. I will attend to my own health, well-being, and abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights or civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. All right, please have a seat. It is my honor to recognize Dr. Luisa Apia Agbenega. She has been selected by the class of 2022 to speak on their behalf.
Thank you, Dean Higginson. Shout out to all my med school besties. Good morning to the amazing class of 2022, faculty, distinguished speakers, guests, family, and friends. My name is Luisa Apia Agbenega, and I have been honored to serve as the class vice president and previously as class representative over the past 4 years. The class of 2022, the first most diverse class in Brody's history, not only in race, ethnicity, and gender, but with unique stories and backgrounds. I know our class has been through a lot, and I simply cannot make light of this fact. A few days ago, through humor and satire, in our class play, Brodora the Explorer, we reflected on the adversities and triumphs we have overcome to get to this very day, our medical school graduation. So let me highlight some of these stories. Today, we celebrate the power of an immigrant's story, the power of the first-generation student, the power of generational dreams, and the power of community. In 2003, a young Dr. Mensah took her first plane ride from Ghana, West Africa, and arrived in Charlotte, North Carolina, with her family. Like me and many others, they stayed and called North Carolina home. As a first-generation student, she decided to apply to medical school because she had the unique vision to merge her public health experiences into patient-centered care. One day, while discussing a poor biology grade with her undergraduate professor, she was told to go back to Ghana or consider a plan B. Today, the drive of this immigrant child places her here as a newly minted family medicine doctor. Also, in 2003, the son of an El Salvadorian immigrant in a single-mother household was moving to North Carolina. As young Dr. Reyes observed his mother working hard as a home health nurse, he knew that he wanted to be a healthcare worker. When COVID hit close to home during his second year of medical school, he had finally reached his limits. The pandemic pushed Dr. Reyes into mental exhaustion, grief, and emotional turmoil, challenging his lifelong dream. Today, he sits amongst us as a new medicine and pediatrics doctor. Across the Eastern Front in Supply, North Carolina, Dr. Priester knew she wanted to be the first college graduate and doctor in her family. She watched as her mother struggled with the broken healthcare system for several years without a diagnosis. She would ultimately leave her town to pursue her dreams and provide competent and compassionate care, but would feel some guilt for leaving. During her third year in medical school, her family finally received the news no one wants to hear. It's a tumor. But the support of her friends and classmates at the Brody family would push her to the finish line as an incoming OBGYN. Finally, 10 years ago, a young Dr. Malpa stepped foot onto the vibrant ECU undergraduate campus and started her journey to medicine. She had observed her father battle with several health issues and intimately experienced our healthcare system with her loved one. This drove her deep passion for medicine and service. During our first year of medical school, she experienced the loss of her father. And it was humbling to see the class of 2022 rally around our classmate with support and encouragement. She attributes her motivation to the finish line to you, class of 2022. Today, she continues to support the people of Eastern North Carolina as their newest family medicine doctor at ECU Health. The ambition of an immigrant child the determination of a first-generation student, the call of a doctor to be an advocate and a servant, COVID-19, the loss of a parent and important parental figures, compounded by the rigors of the curriculum with limited resources, ongoing global pandemic, the changing landscape of our schools. But each of these individuals had you, the class of 2022. You were a friend, an advocate, a resource, a source of relief. You baked cookies, you bought flowers, you showed up every day for our peers and our patients. We celebrated class marriages, class babies, and several other milestones. We also advocated for the people of Eastern North Carolina. We were committed to service, quality improvement, medical education, and a sense of community. Do you get it yet? The theme that lingers on is the power of overcoming, rising to the occasion, pushing forward, and living our wildest dreams. And I want us to all understand that we are unique in this experience together, and together we made it to the finish line. On this next leg of our journey, we must not forget our collective ability to overcome and do the work we were called to do even in the face of challenges. We must lean on our community, remember our why, talk to our patients, listen to their stories, hear their stories, and know that our presence is necessary and a part of their healing. I am so proud of all the things that we have accomplished and we will continue to accomplish on a national and global scale. And in the wise words of Drake, AKA Champagne Papi, sometimes it's the journey that teaches you a lot about the destination. Family, friends, guests, help me congratulate the greatest class of all time, class of 2022! We did it, y'all. We did it. I would like to invite Dr. Higginson back up for closing remarks.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Pia Agbenega. You clearly have demonstrated the outstanding leadership that we expect from this class. This brings us to the conclusion of the 42nd Convocation of the Brody School of Medicine at East Carolina University for the class of 2022. You have achieved a great deal in getting to this point in your lives, but your greatest achievements lie ahead, and they will be measured in the lives saved, patients and families comforted, and colleagues supported on their journey. You are clearly already doing those things. Don't forget, while you are being heaped with praise today, that there are many people in this audience that have assisted you getting to this point. Make sure you take time to thank them. It is their graduation as well. Most importantly, these people will become critically important to you as you move forward on your journey as a physician, and they will be equally, if not more important, in the future. Lastly, never let anyone convince you that the good old days are in the past. They are in the future, and you have a part in constructing them. I am certain you will make a difference, and you will make Brody proud, and you will live up to our motto of servire, to serve. Thank you for celebrating with us today. After the recessional, we ask that families exit the theater after the recessional, and you are free to mingle and take photos and meet faculty, students, and families outside Mendenhall. The graduation has ended. Go in peace to love and serve your patients.